I was at this poetry workshop cuando les leí mi poesía. It was this poem sprinkled with words in Spanish like chili powder on the fresh fruit slices of my English. And they told me, maybe you should translate more of your words. Not everyone can understand you. So I told them, I didn't write this poem for you. So don't ask me to change it for you. You see, I spoke Spanish before I spoke anything else. And while my father was learning English in a classroom, I was learning it from my mom and Sesame Street. So maybe this poem is for Big Bird and Cookie Monster and Oscar, who taught me it's okay to get mad, especially when you're being misunderstood. You see, I wrote this poem for my mom and her generation, who were punished in classrooms, made to kneel in corners, their mouths washed out with soap for speaking their mother's tongues. I wrote it for my father, who was proud when the white lady told him that she couldn't believe he was an immigrant because he hardly had an accent. I wrote it for my daughter, who gets top marks with that analytical mind of hers in math and science, but struggles in Spanish class. And I wrote it for my son, who asked me one day in disappointment, Daddy, why didn't you teach me Spanish when I was younger? I would know 2 languages by now. And I wrote it because when I was their age, I pretended I didn't understand the janitors and the lunch ladies at school because none of my GT classmates would ever have talked to those people. So now I'm writing it for them and their daughters and their sons, y my tíos, y my tías, y toda la gente de mi barrio que les trabajan en la labor so they can pick the lettuce and tomato that goes into your taco salad. Maybe it's for the Salinas out there who can sing como la flor, but don't actually know the language in which they sing. And for Hispanics in Hollywood who are still typecast as gang members and pool cleaners and landscapers and janitors and lunch ladies. And for El Chavo del Ocho, Univision 41. All the restaurants in the greater metropolitan area with Jalisco somewhere in their name. Los 43 de Ocinapa who still have not been found. 2.8 million Latinos that did not vote in the last election. And the 30% of Border Patrol agents out there who claim themselves as Hispanic, keeping their own cousins in cages, but I sure as fuck didn't write it for you. It's for anyone who's ever been laughed at for saying sandwich or library or pizza, had their name butchered by some pinche gringo who didn't even want to try because there is no excuse for that. It's for being told to speak American on this soil where we rolled tortillas before we ever broke any bread. And there was a Santa Fe before there was a Plymouth Rock. There was an El Paso before there was ever a Philadelphia. There was a San Antonio and a San Diego and Albuquerque before there was ever a Washington, D.C. And I did not write this poem for you either, Mr. Trump. I wrote it for me.